I'm Lance Yelvington for CyberCountry. You know, great music and gold records are nothing new for country legend John Anderson. In this CyberCountry Minute, John's going to tell us how he's mining the gold mine for the fans, as well as giving them a new album called Goldmine.
Well, Goldmine is our latest CD. I guess probably about the 28th or 29th CD I've recorded. But now who's counting? Anyway, Goldmine is a record that it came out of necessity in a lot of ways. It had been 9 years since we had a release, and that particular release was on a record label that was so dysfunctional, I wish it had never been attempted, to be honest. It was one of our worst attempts at a record. And I say one of ours, after the record was good musically, but never saw the light of day. And as time went on, folks said, "Are you still doing this? Do you still make records?" I'm thinking, boy, we need to stop that. Yeah, they need to know that we're still alive and we're still making records. And
well, see, alive and kicking, because with the 13 songs in this album, there are 12 that you wrote, and Merle Haggard wrote one.
Oh,
so I
yeah.
mean, the whole thing sounds fantastic. What was that like putting together?
Oh,
that
thank
CD?
you so much. First off, well, like I say, I was able to write quite a few songs. In fact, we probably had 25 or 30 original songs when it went in going to separate material for this particular record. And we picked out our songs, and one day I got a call. I said, "Hey, John, this is Merle." I thought, wow. He said, "Man, I'm down here in Macon, Georgia writing this song, and the more I write on it, the more it sounds like you." I said, "Well, man, you just go ahead and finish it and I'll do it." No questions asked, you know. And I thought, if it's Merle Haggard writing a song and he's wanting me, you know, or he thinks it sounds like me, I sure hope it does, you know.
Absolutely.
So anyway, I said, "Well, you just finish it up and we'll do it." Well, I saw him about 3 months later here in Nashville, and we visited a little while, and finally I said, "Did you finish that song?" And it was wonderful. It's a classic. I'll never forget. It's one of the biggest moments in my country music life. Merle reached in his back pocket. He pulled out a piece of white paper, unfolded it, put it on the table, and he told his son Ben, said, "Son, go get me that guitar." And he commenced playing this song, Magic Mama. And I was thinking, what, for me? You know, this is amazing. And just to hear him sit and play it with that guitar on that couch was plenty heavy enough. But there again, I kind of said, now, let me kind of be sure what kind of feel you want, you know. And so I hope we tried to get it right, and I hope we did his song justice. But on the other hand, just getting a brand new, untouched Merle Haggard piece of material was, again, one of the highlights of my whole country music life. I'll always be thankful to Merle. And as far as our songs, like I say, we were lucky to write a lot of good ones. I had a lot of help with songs that I'd written with friends and songs that I'd written by myself. And one of the great things about the Goldmine CD is we were able to choose all that ourselves, and meaning mainly me and the man who helped me produce the record. His name is Joe Spivey, but he had been in my band for 28 years, so we weren't strangers.
Yeah. See,
not like Merle and his boy. No, that's just a joke. But anyway, we were able to go in the studio that we wanted to go in with the players that we chose to call to play, who were all dear friends and some of the greatest players in the world. And when you get a combination in there of just good friends playing music and the songs were turning out good, I had as good a time making this record as any record I've ever made. And I think it stands by itself to show that.
Well, see, the thing that I remember, because I heard you in college. I mean, this is just some of the cool things. I remember the cool songs back then. The thing I like about this album is a lot of the songs sound a lot like your old stuff, but, you know, with a new touch, which I kind of like.
It's a little bit of a new touch, but there again, we recorded this whole album kind of the way we used to record 30 years ago, when there wasn't a whole lot of overdubbing, there wasn't a whole lot of this fine tweaking and just tuning and all. We didn't do that. We went in, I played the songs to the players. We didn't have demos. I played these songs right on my guitar to the players. They stood around, and we talked about arrangements, who would take the intros, where we would turn this around, who would take the fills on these verses. And all that was pretty, I mean, we've been doing this all our lives, so that everybody in there, they're no stranger to this kind of work. So it went very smoothly, very easily, no pressure. And on top of it, nobody from the record company to come in after it was over and say, well, this is no good. So we beat all that.
I tell you, whenever you write a song, that's kind of like giving birth to an original creation.
It is.
And you said you went in there with 30 songs, but you had to come it down to 13. How tough was that?
It's tough, but on the other hand, the songs start taking on a little feeling of their own. And through the process of recording the CD, then you want to say, well, we've got this kind of song, and I'd like to have this other kind of song. For instance, we had a couple good country ballads on this record. One of them called Back Home. Another one called Holding On to What I'm Holding To. Real good country ballad things. Well, you know, and we need a little bit of up-tempo then to go with some of that, as well as had another song that I wrote with my good friend Buddy Cannon, who is probably one of the hottest guys in the music business over the last 10 years, producing and writing. And we wrote a song called The Song the Mountain Sings, which happens to be one of my favorites on the record. And it's almost like a bluegrass, hillbilly blues thing. Mountain music, you might say. It's a true representation of the area that I live in, up and around Smithville and beyond, as far as the Appalachian sounds. And like I said, it's a song the mountains sing. And,
Great song, too.
Oh, thank you. I'm partial to it. And like I said, it hits me close to home. I mean, as I look out my back door and my front door, that's the kind of music I want.
Can't be living out in the country, that's for real.
Oh, I love it. I couldn't. Well, I chose to live up. I moved up to Center Hill Lake back in the 70s, Smithville, DeKalb County area, which I don't know if you've been up there, but it's one of the most beautiful parts of the state. And I always thought that if I lived up there, and the traffic here in Nashville used to drive me crazy. I couldn't. I would almost lose it.
You're not alone.
and well, I beat it. I moved up to Smithville in about 77.
Yes, sir.
And you know what? I hadn't been in a traffic jam up there yet. Except when the funeral goes by, I guess.
I tell you what, talking about traffic going out on the road, what are your plans for getting out on the road?
Oh, we'll stay busy this next year. Actually, 2015 was one of our better years on the road in the last 7 or 8 years. And due to, having out new product as well as getting some new press and things we haven't had in 9 or 10 years. I mean, like I say, people were wondering was I still alive and were we even playing. And as they find out, I noticed, some of them are starting to come to the shows. I'd say 95% of our shows were sold out this year. And 2016 is looking great already. So for an old man, you can't complain.
Well, let me ask you, why should somebody go out and get Goldmine or see one of your shows?
Well, at this point, if they want to hear some real country music, they might should. I'm John Anderson, and I want to thank Lance and all the folks at CyberCountry. And folks, if you want to stay tuned in with us, please join us at johnanderson.com for all the latest tour dates, the merchandise, record information, as well as we're going to be doing a lot of live streaming this year, so y'all check us out.